Every intro is hard for me. Like impossible. I'll record for a half hour just to cut out enough to make what I post. And it doesn't sound like me. It sounds like this, I don't know. I should be talking to people at a fancy hotel or something. That's not what I sound like. And I've kind of accepted that that's what I sound like on the intro. So, I don't know what it means, but welcome to Emotion Art. It's all emotion art. And you are welcome. I mean, think about it. Everything that you touch is changed by your touch. It feels like creation to me. I mean, even if you think about things, it changes them. Humans have a lot of emotions. That's what we're made out of. Layer upon layer upon layer of stories that are all encoded in emotions. And everything we touch is changed by our touch. To me, that feels like we are emotion art. And since the world around us is made by our emotions, it is also emotion art. I love having these conversations. They are incredibly enjoyable, even the ones I don't post. And there's getting to be more and more of those because I'm realizing the conversations is what I want to have. So record or not record, let's go. But recording is something else altogether. So I'm always going to be trying to get there. And I need to give mad kudos to the people who helped me make this what it is. Buddy Anderson. But he writes original music for all this stuff. And it feels like every episode it kind of shocks me. It's like the music is custom made to hold the words. And that's so cool. I get tears every time the music comes on at the end of the conversation. It's a very emotional moment for me. I appreciate that. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people who also appreciate what you add, buddy. Thank you. And Angela, tireless and super smart. I really appreciate your time and your energy. You guys are a gift. I also deeply appreciate everybody who listens to these conversations and then says something. That interaction, it just feels really, really good. So, I appreciate it. Thank you, technology, for making this all possible. Ooh. You make art so much more accessible and give us reach so that we can show our art to the world. That's a gift. I am a hell of a rambler. It's what I do. No, seriously though, the poor people around me. I mean, I have phases where I'm not super talkative. I have phases where I'm deathly silent. Life is cycles. None of them feel negative to me anymore. Not even in the moment. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's like in the phase where everything's quiet. Breathing in used to feel depressing or like chaotic, like everything is too quiet, everything's going wrong. But I know now that's not what it is. It's just breathing in and breathing out. And breathing out is so fun. That's where conversations happen. That's where the creation happens. That's where my essence is touching everything around me. So fun. But it doesn't happen forever without a breath back in. And the breath in is every bit as life-giving, every bit as healing as the breath out, a breath of creation. And at the breath in is where the inspiration bedrock is. As I breathe out, of course, inspiration just starts to flow, but where it starts is in the breath in. So, why am I talking about that? The poor people here at the Forge, they don't have to listen to me right now because I am down in the Fundamental Sense Massage Studio, which is the perfect place for doing anything that's peaceful and healing. The energy of this place just feels like a restorative garden. It used to be a little shed, And then Angela happened to it. So peaceful. That's what it feels like in here. Okay. Thank you for listening. I hope that you find the treasure in these conversations that I do. Or even a part of it, dude. It's so cool. This is a conversation with Damian, a local guy that I've run into a few times here and there over the years. And I wanted to have a conversation with him for a while. So eventually I asked him, and the conversation was fantastic. I got to look at the universe, a little sliver of the universe, through Damian's eyes. Thanks for letting me explore a little bit of your universe, Damian. And especially, thanks for letting me record it so that anyone else who wants to has the opportunity, at least. And thank you that you care to bring more community into this world. That's a gift. All right, travelers. Our next world is Damian. Enjoy.
Welcome to Emotion Art.
Emotion art, where we sit down and make art with our emotions.
Emotion Art.
Creative energy moving outward in conscious expression of feeling.
Emotion Art.
Emotion art.
Emotion Art.
Emotion because we are literally made of emotion. Art because everything we do wants to be art. Emotion art. Feels.
Emotion Art. It's all beautiful. Emotion Art. Emotion Art.
A space for emotional art. Creative energy moving outward in conscious expression.
Emotion Art.
An emotion art gallery.
This is Emotion Art.
You're welcome.
That's going to need to get edited out.
Okay. I think that's going to need to get edited out.
Awesome.
This is going to be my 20th episode.
I'm Venti.
I mean, I'm assuming that we can come up with anything good enough to post. I mean, always assuming that. And I'll tell you what, every episode, I come out of it not remembering anything we talked about and worried that it's all garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And every time, once I edit it, it's like taking a rock and cutting the carving the statue out of it. And once it's carved out, it's always beautiful.
Well, I'm excited. What is the premise of your podcast? What are you trying to get out of the podcast?
I am intensely fascinated by human emotions.
Okay.
Every aspect of humans just fascinates me. And I used to also be terrified of humans. The more that I walk through my fear, the more that I just have this pure glittering fascination. I just like to talk to people and see what comes out. So I got some mics, picked up a hitchhiker, started talking to him, and we just ended up recording. And the first thing I figured out is that conversations change when the microphone turns on. When you can hear your voice in your head and you know that it's bound for the internet, that people are going to hear it, at least potentially, it changes every part of the process of turning emotions into words.
Sure.
I don't know how, I don't know what the difference is, but I know that it is absolutely thrilling to me. So I can't help myself but do it. That's really all I get out of it. What's starting to happen is I'm basically starting to tell my story through the thread of other people's stories. A lot of the people I interview are people that are from my life, from my past. You'll actually be the second person. No, you won't be, because you are part of my life. Like we haven't connected deeply.
Correct.
But
similar circles. We run into each other.
Our circles are very definitely overlapped.
Yep.
I think that, what I get out of the podcast is different every episode because it's a different conversation. What I hope to get out of this conversation is just, I want to see what the world looks like out of your eyes.
Oh, okay.
That's really all I'm after.
Got it.
I love talking about just philosophy and, all that type of stuff. That's what I'm always drawn to. So if left to myself, that's where conversations are going to go. I'm going to start asking you about your past. I'm going to start trying to get a picture of what that little boy what life was like for that little boy. But I don't have an agenda. I just want to sit here and have a conversation with another human.
Trying to see what it's like to look through another person's eyes. That helps frame it.
That's what just revs me up.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
I want to start right here.
Okay.
I always try to just get through the awkward. I mean, if you're human and you haven't done it before, you're going to have some sort of stage fright or blocks and stuff. So it's awkward in the beginning every single time. And the awkward part is becoming enjoyable because, like, I don't know, do you have a meditation practice?
I do.
Ooh.
Not like the formal meditation process where you sit and try and clear space. 2 ways I've gotten into a meditative state. The first is with running. So long distance running. Some people really get the runner's high out of running. I've never really gotten a runner's high out of it. But I do really enjoy the space when everything hurts so much and I'm so exhausted that the thoughts stop. So I can get into a meditative state there and through other exercise, long hikes.
Movement. You're a movement meditator.
Yeah, I'm not one that sits still very often. It's frustrating for people because it's rare that I'll sit and watch a movie or a show. I'd rather be walking around doing stuff than...
Good.
Yeah. ADHD boy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Shorten your mic boom a little bit. See how much more sensual that sounds?
We're going to talk like this now. How you doing?
We should do a whole episode like this.
Mm-hmm.
There's some ASMR people out there that would really appreciate it.
ASMR.
I don't know.
ASMR.
But it sounds like this.
Okay. Now I want to look it up. You know what really bugs me? That we've gotten into a space where everything is at our fingertips. You drop an acronym ASMR, like immediately I want to use my little internet brain to try and figure out what that is. And that frustrates me. That frustrates me that it frustrates me when I see other people do it. It frustrates me when I can't have a conversation with someone without them constantly looking at their phone.
It's hard to talk to someone that's not there.
It frustrates me that I do it myself.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about that is when it doesn't frustrate you when you do it yourself, it will not frustrate you when someone else does it.
Yeah.
Hi, Damian.
How you doing? That question bugs you.
You are so generous to give me so much to grind on right off the bat.
Do you know, we had that conversation at that party recently, and that has stuck in my head. I don't agree with you. I like that I don't agree with you, and I like that it's made me think about it.
Wait, hold on. Refresh my memory about what the premise is.
Walking up to someone, how you doing? How was your day? Instead of digging in to get to a deeper level of conversation right away. And I've thought a lot about that since that party, and it's stuck with me. I love that it's stuck with me because anything that makes me think is great. So when I was a kid, right after high school, I worked on top of a mountain selling donuts, and we would live up there for 4 days and then go to the bottom of the mountain for our days off. And one of the kids that worked up there with me told me that people would like me better if I weren't so foreboding. And at the time, I didn't know what the word meant, so I had to look it up. I was like, damn, people can't approach me. I'm really that unapproachable.
Be less like Edgar Allan Poe. Is that what it meant?
So freaking dark, yeah. I wear a lot of black, maybe.
I mean, foreboding sounds great to me. It sounds interesting.
Yeah. I've gotten that feedback in other forms throughout my life that I'm hard to approach. I'm off-putting. So I think, yes, there's a conformity aspect to the intro question. How you doing? What's up? What's new?
And I don't like those questions.
I know. We had that conversation. I understand you don't like that.
What I'm curious about is what exactly, because you said you don't agree with me.
For me.
You're saying that you don't share my dislike.
I don't share your dislike.
Okay, because that's not agreement or disagreement. You like different things. You like small talk.
No, I don't like small talk at all.
Okay.
But I like a few seconds to try and put the person I'm attempting to connect with at ease. It's like dancing. Like having a few steps together that are pre-planned before you start improvising and flipping people around. You got to do the little social dance for a second so that, your little ant antennas like, okay, yes, I'm a human, you're a human. We speak a similar language where, okay, we can move from here, but it helps me feel like I'm putting someone at ease by just dealing with that level of it for a second or two before I move on to tell me about why your mom doesn't like you, or, whatever the deeper conversation is there.
And the foreboding comment is tied to that. Is that what you're saying?
I have in my past had a really hard time connecting with people. I don't do it well. I think I'm getting better at it, but I'm getting better at it through practice. And making friends in your 40s and 50s is hard. In your 30s, it's hard. Like in junior high and high school, it was like, okay, yeah, you like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? So do I. Yeah. Oh, we're best friends. Or,
so simple.
Or whatever it was back then.
But we grow up and we learn that all that stuff doesn't matter and that you have to do the work and you have to present yourself right. And boy, does that ever make it hard to make friends.
It does.
And it's interesting because you're saying that you like to feel a person out a little bit. You said put them at their ease.
Or more that I want to feel like I'm putting them at ease. It's more about a feeling for myself. So as someone who's intensely shy in social situations, I can't just walk up to someone and have a conversation. It's really, really difficult being shy and doing that. So having a few canned phrases, if you will, that are socially acceptable. How you doing? What's your day like? What's new with you? For me, makes it feel like I can have a conversation with someone, get on their level, feel them out, feel if there's a baseline connection potential to dig into. Are we both at 200 megahertz or are you operating somewhere else? And we're not going to be able to move forward with this right now. I'll try again later maybe, but.
So I'm wondering if looking at it through that lens, the reason that I don't like it is because I have this baseline understanding that everything that comes out of my mouth is going to be understood differently by everyone who hears it than it is by me, no matter what. The best we can hope for is getting close. That's how I see communication. And so to me, to try to establish that we are speaking the same language is a lie because I already know we're not. That's why I like to talk around things. I don't like it when someone just answers my question. I like it when they offer me a couple of suggestions. Well, I feel like this, but I also feel like this, but I'm also thinking about this over here. And when I talk like that, it's hard for people to follow. It feels like rabbit trail after rabbit trail. But to me, what I actually want to know is what does it feel like inside you behind those words? Because I'm going to interpret those words based on my upbringing and every experience I've had in 43 years. Not the same ones you've had. So I'd rather hear it 5 or 6 different ways. And I'd rather skip we speak the same language because I already know we don't. And now I'm just coming up with all this right now because I'm trying to look at that conversation through your lens. That's what comes to me.
Maybe I approach it with a little bit more hope that we are speaking the same language or getting close to the same language.
Okay. So it sounds like you see yourself as being shy. Like you use the word shy and what was foreboding? Hard to connect with.
Foreboding.
Okay. Okay. You don't see yourself, but somewhat hard to connect with. Maybe less so than before.
Working on it.
Maybe a little bit off-putting to certain people, probably the majority of people in your life.
Not anymore. It used to be a worry.
Sweet.
Yeah, I don't worry about it at all anymore.
I'm describing everything I used to feel too, and still do some, of course.
I think fortunately I'm at a point in life. Maybe you've been to the place mentally where you stop caring about a lot of things. It's like, okay, you're going to accept me for what I'm bringing at any given situation, or you're not.
Yes.
I've done a lot of work on myself. I hope, there's the word again, hope. I hope that I'm bringing something worthwhile to the table at any interaction.
Do you believe that you are?
I do. I've got an absurdly high level of self-worth. I think I like being me. I really do. And I don't mean that in any kind of arrogant way. I have more fun than I probably, I feel guilty about my levels of fun in life. I love life. And coming from the opposite 20 years ago where I couldn't stand it, it's been a bit of a journey. None of that has to do with,
it being life. You couldn't stand it.
Oh, just depression. Yeah. Lots of depression, growing up. And
it sounds like you are a very different person than what you used to be.
I think I've been able to look at the world differently. I've been able to appreciate the gift that these circles around the sun have given me. Doom, 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 doom.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Who do you see yourself to be? If you were just to describe yourself to someone who didn't know you.
That's a big question. Is who you are what you do, what you contribute? Is who you are what you've done?
I would say no to both of those. But they are aspects of you.
I don't know.
I like that answer.
And I don't know that I care.
Oh, even more interesting. Okay, so you're saying that you don't care who you are right now? You're not saying you don't care. You said I don't know that I care.
I don't know that I care to define it. Too much philosophy. Oh, okay. I am a sliver of the universe experiencing itself. I am the observer, observing what this body is doing through its iteration on this planet. And I don't mean that in any super deep way.
So it sounds to me like you feel like who you are is something other than this body, this organism.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
You're agnostic.
Atheistic, agnostic.
Well, not about God, but about who you are.
Yeah, other than the cogito ergo sum, I think therefore I am. How do we know that we exist? Okay, I'm thinking, I'm being right here. I go to sleep. I have no idea whether I'm going to wake up the next morning. So my existence is this present moment. What am I in this present moment? Fairly relaxed, happy, glad that I woke up this morning, glad that I get to experience love and joy in this life, glad that my kids are healthy.
You're present.
Yeah. And trying to describe what I am to someone else in this moment is a lot, because I'm not anything really right now except for here in a conversation, describing what I think this person's personality is. I think I'm a kind, generous person who tries to give a lot to the community. I try to help build connections in the community. I try to, I'm trying to make the world a better place while I've got breath remaining, in the little bits that I can.
What would you say is the biggest part of what you're doing to try to make the world a better place? How does that look practically for you?
All right. So what I'm doing to improve my world, my community, there are a couple of communities that I'm involved with that I'm trying to help foster and grow. There's an ethical non-monogamy community in this area. I try and have tried for the last couple of years to bring these people together because, okay, if you read any of the books, if you've done any of the research, supposedly like 40% of the population in this country has tried some form of ethical non-monogamy.
Wow.
It's something like that. Currently, if you're believing the books, and this is from a 10-year-old book, Polysecure. One of the stats that they throw out there is 4 to 5% of people in this country are currently in ethical non-monogamous situations. If you look at the numbers in Corvallis, that should be something like 2,000, 3,000 people in this town. I know 100 or 200 of them. So that means there's 1,800 of us to more that are feeling very, very isolated and alone because at least from what I can see, it's still not fully accepted and embraced by society. Where a lot of people living that lifestyle are living in the shadows. And ran into a friend of mine at the gym. There's an upcoming meetup of people, and I mentioned it to this person and tried to explain to him what the community was about. Just like, hey, there are a bunch of us out there doing this ethically, and so many of us are feeling alone. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so lonely. It's like, Jesus, man, come hang out. There's, in my mind, almost nothing more refreshing than going to a social event, a party, where at least that part of yourself, you don't have to put the facade up. You don't have to pretend that you're not something else or someone else. You're not conforming to some other expectation in society. It's like, okay, yeah, I have multiple partners. A couple of them are here. And you don't have to answer like the first 20 questions. Doesn't everybody get jealous? Is what do your parents think about this? Are you guys in the closet about this? It's like, no. We're all open about it.
Yeah.
We're living our life. Everybody knows what's going on, and there's no secrets about it. And just having that pressure off is amazing. So that's one community. I'm part of the burner community. I help put on Soak.
That's the Oregon burn.
That's the Oregon burn. It's another beautiful, beautiful community of people that are just doing amazing things. And so I work a lot to try and help there. And then personally, I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
Yeah. I fell into that 10 years ago when my kids, they do this crazy thing they call talking game. And what that looked like was they would lead each other on stories. It's like, okay, we're going to go and we're going to rescue the village. And the other kid be like, yeah, let's go rescue the village. What kind of dragon am I going to ride? Be like, okay, I get the blue dragon. The other one be like, no, I want the blue dragon. And I swear to you, the only fights my kids got into for almost 10 years were about talking game and who could ride the blue dragon or the red dragon or whatever. And I would use this to help encourage them to go out and hike and explore nature with me. It'd be like, hey, we're going to hike Bald Hill and we're going to go look for fairy nests. We're going to go find some fairies. Do you guys want to come help me find some fairies? And we get out there and we do that. And they would lead each other on these adventures as we're hiking. And as this is going on, I'm like, damn, when I was a kid, there was this game called Dungeons and Dragons that people played. And I looked it up and it was making a revival at that point. I'm like, all right, let's start doing this. I went down to Matt's comic shop here in town because they had like 2 weekly games.
Love that place.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. And they would host free games and you could just show up and play in the back. And first couple times we went, we got to sit in with these college guys that were running a game. And my kids and I would sit there and we'd play with these college kids. And it was just amazing. After a while, that game ended. I think one of the kids, I call them kids, college guys, mom got sick, so we had to stop running the game. And none of the other dungeon masters, those are the people that run the games, would want to run a table with kids at it. And so I'm like, all right. And there are always a couple kids that would show up wanting to play. And when I say kids in this sense, I'm talking about like 10, 11, 12-year-olds. So I talked to the guy who ran the Dungeons and Dragons group in the back of the comic book shop. And I'm like, hey, what if I ran the game and I just take all the kids? I'll run the game for the kids. And they're like, yes, please do that. So we don't have to deal with any of the goddamn little kids. I was like, I'm a dad. I've got 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds. And, I can handle little kids.
And I know how frustrating they are.
Yeah, exactly. And I did. And I started DMing for the kids. And my kids had a campaign that went on for about 5 years that I ran.
Wow.
And it was every week. And I kid you not, I think that was the thing that helped us survive the pandemic. We moved it online when everybody had to start wearing masks and couldn't be around their friends. And it was the one saving grace that my kids had, because every week they knew, okay, we're going to get to go do our adventure and get back into our world of magic and fun and make believe. So started running a table for some friends of mine and been doing that for 4 years now. And I love that. I love Dungeons and Dragons. It's great. Getting to tell stories together.
How long does it take to play a satisfying game? Like, what's the least amount of time it takes for a satisfying round of Dungeons and Dragons?
3 hours. You can do a game in 3 hours and start, escalate, and finish a story. It's better when it goes on for years.
Yeah.
The adult table I run, we're 3 years into the same story, and it's every week. And I know my players know this now, but they're giving me the story. They're like, okay, well, my character's from this town, has this brother, lost their mom to this. And I'm like, okay, I'll use this against you. I'll use this against you. I'll use this against you. And we'll craft the story around that. So like 8 months into the story, you're going to find your mom's dead body, and it's walking around as a zombie. And it's like, oh crap, what happened there? And we got to go figure this out now. So they're feeding me all the ammunition that ends up creating the story. So one of my characters had this backstory about being a dwarf, and he only knew his mom. Well, 3 years in, they're trying to escape from some tunnel, and his mom's there. And so it's just like, okay, I pulled this from your story 3 years ago, and we're going to build a bigger story because of it. So yeah, that's another community I'm in that I absolutely love. It's so much fun.
And thank you for taking the kids. The world needs more people to just take the kids. Okay, yeah. I'll take them. And you're someone who can and someone who does. So that's fantastic.
Dude, it's amazing because last year the kids game ended and I was sad about that. But 4 of the kids I saw from like 7th grade, maybe not 7th grade, 8th grade to senior year in high school. So I watched these kids grow up. It's like just amazing. It's like they're turning into these cool people. It's like, okay, you were a kid and now you're a person. I mean, there were people before, but now you're an adult.
Yes.
And you know, they're off in college doing cool things. I still have, so you were telling me that your house is called the Forge because it's an emotional forge. My youngest built a coal forge on the side of our house. One of the D&D kids and my 2 kids all get together like every other Friday, and they're like pounding metal out on the side of the house, building God knows what. And
future SCA people.
Yeah, I mean, two of them are in college now, but they still stop by and still pound some metal every once in a while. It's pretty awesome. So yeah. Already feeling like the empty nester feeling because my oldest is in college now. And
are you saying that you have a forge now?
I do. I have 2. I got a propane forge. Well, it's not mine, but it's one of the kids' forge.
But you have it.
2 of them at the side of the house. Yep.
Oh, I would love to play with a forge.
Cool.
I've never
come on over, man.
Never experienced that, and I intend to someday.
Next time my kids are forging, I will text you when they're coming over. And you can come over. They can give you a lesson on some of the safety stuff. They'll fire up the coal for you and show you how it works.
Right. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
And I want to. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, and it's kind of like something I've always wanted to do. Played a lot of Magic the Gathering.
Okay. So Wizards of the Coast, the guys who do Magic the Gathering, they bought D&D maybe 12 years ago, 15 years ago, something like that. So they really realigned the game a little bit towards Magic the Gathering, so at least the combat aspect is
similar,
streamlined.
Okay,
it's easier to deal with. There are 2 things that Magic the Gathering does not have that D&D does, and that's the role play, putting yourself in the skin of someone else, and then exploration, like figuring out traps and terrain and where you are in the world.
Seems like that would be incredibly enjoyable.
It is.
The Magic card game gets a little monotonous to me, unless you have to spend all your time building and overpowering decks and just doing like niche little things, or else you just get beat by everybody. And to me, just to play simple games with starter decks is so fun, but hard to find.
Yeah, we dipped into Magic the Gathering last year a little bit, and yeah, it's really hard because people who know what they're doing in that game have been collecting cards for years.
And you either put all your time into it or you just quit eventually.
Yeah.
You're also involved with Soak.
Yeah.
You're involved with Dungeons and Dragons. That makes perfect sense to me. And the ethical monogamy community, that makes sense to me. Something you identify with, something you want to help build and create a safe space. That's what I'm hearing you saying is you want to create safety where you have not felt safety. Safe to be open, not judged.
That's not my end goal.
Okay.
My end goal is connecting people and helping foster community. Whenever that group meets, we talk about keeping each other safe, consent, and we don't talk about membership of who's showing up outside of the group because you never know. Some people may not be out at work. Some people may not be out, with family. So you got to be careful and mindful of that. So yes, there's a safety aspect, but hopefully every space that I'm helping to create is a safe space. But that's not the intent. The intent is just connecting people that are otherwise feeling lonely.
Okay. And then it feels like they would both of those purposes would be in the same direction. Yeah. Because that would bring people together in community. But why are you involved with Soak?
I've been going to Soak since 2013, 2014, back when it was over in Tidewater. An ex of mine was dating a guy who invited us to come along. And it was just an amazing experience. I had heard of Burning Man before that. And curious about Burning Man, but it's always right before the kids go to school. So it had always felt like it was hard to justify, taking off and having that kind of experience when the kids are trying to get ready for school. And I've got to make sure that, all those things are taken care of. So I've still never gone to Burning Man. Okay. But Soak is, I think it was in July. It started out in July, and now it's over Memorial Day weekend. So it's at the end of school. It's a little bit easier to get away for. It's not as long of a commitment. So I started going in 2014, and it blew my mind. The art that happens there is amazing. The music, the dancing, the connection. Yeah, without looking it up, I couldn't tell you all of the 10 tenets of Burning Man, but radical inclusion is one of them. And being someone who's shy, going around to people's different camps and being welcomed in was something new for me. Yeah. And that being such a core part of the experience that people are really wanting to include everyone. And so as I started experiencing it, going as a participant, experiencing what all these camps were doing, first thought was, okay, I really dig this experience. How can I get more involved? How can I give to this and make it better? So I found another camp that I could go with and started going with them, helping build their project. And what it really is are, now it's like 250 camps, something like that. But each camp is curating an experience. We are going to bring this, whether it's a tea party. One camp brings a tea party. One camp brings a dance party. One camp is building a meditation experience. One camp is building an experience where if you're a musician, you can go and just jam with other musicians. And they're working really hard to put an experience together, because it's almost like all of these camps, it's like, okay, well, I saw what they did last year. I saw what they did last year. We got to step our game up. Next year, we're going to make it even better. Then everyone shows up. They build this huge city of amazing art, experience, people. It happens. And then there's no trace. It's gone. It's an experience of immediacy. It's like, here it is. I'm present. I'm now.
And community.
Yeah. And then it's gone. I was just so impressed with the level of creativity and beauty and experience that I wanted to get more and more involved with it. So started out getting involved with the camp, and then pandemic happened. That camp, I think, split up, went their own way. Still run into some of those folks, but was looking for another way to get involved, because most of that community is up in Portland. So how could I get involved while I'm down here in Corvallis and not not as readily available to go and help build all the camps up there. So one of the leads groups had an opening, so I volunteered for that. And it's a ton of work, but it's amazing to see it happen and to get to be a part of pulling something so phenomenal off. It's just, wow. I helped build this. Yeah.
What is the focus of the group you're involved with there?
I do placement.
Okay. So it's like an administrative group.
Kind of, yeah.
Interesting. Or is this the core planning group?
It's a diversified.
That's not how it works.
there are producers and directors that have overall responsibility for making everything work. There's the greeters group who help make sure people come in. There's a parking group who deals with people in their cars and making sure that that's not a nightmare. My group manages the registration process for camps and artists that want to come and participate, making sure that we're building an experience for people. So, okay, some camps bring bars. You don't want the bars next to all the kids' camps.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And there's kids camps.
Well, there's camps that have kids and have an experience where
that are tailored for kids.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yep.
This sounds like a meta community.
It's pretty awesome.
I look forward to going to Soak one of these years. I've been to Shift one time.
Oh, okay.
That's my only festival experience.
It's awesome. Yeah, I haven't done Shift.
It was transformative. One day I'm going to tell that story so I know it.
Excellent.
But it was like fantasy story transformation. Shift. It's like corny humor that the name is Shift because that's what happened.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of my friends do Shift that don't do Soak anymore.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, so they're a different field. Okay, so I look forward to comparing them.
The friends of mine that don't do Soak anymore, that do Shift, I think got frustrated a little bit with Soak trying to curate the experience rather than just
let it be organic fully.
And maybe that's just the life cycle of a festival.
Sure.
You know, when you start out and you've only got a couple hundred people going, it's mostly your friends. You don't have to worry about rules or how everything's going to fit together. When it gets to a certain level, you got to start trying to have policies in place, and you're dealing with organizations that are outside of yours to make sure that you're, able to use the land that you want to put this thing on. Have you gone to Country Fair?
I haven't. No.
Yeah, I think that's like the original.
Yeah,
that's the OG festival experience. And for me,
I've always heard about it.
Country Fair got boring, and part of that is the vendor, and it's vendors at country fairs. At Soak, you don't eat money. You don't have money. You get your ticket to get in. I think you can still buy ice. That's it. It's a gifting culture.
And it's not like you can't get anything. You just can't pay for it.
Self-reliance is like a tenet of the group. So if you're going, you make sure you got enough water and food for your days. Make sure you got a place to sleep. But there are camps that do food, and you are responsible to bring a cup and a plate and a fork, and you show up at the pancake playhouse and they're going to give you pancakes. You show up at the ramen place, they're going to give you ramen.
Okay. I got to tell you a story from Shift.
All right.
It was like, I don't know. It was one of the nights that we were there. We were only there for a couple nights, but I wasn't able to sleep at all. Like I went to bed. I went to bed at one point and laid there for a half hour and realized that the sun was starting to come up. And I just had this feeling of peace, just profound peace. And I was just like, I don't want to lay in bed. I want to go watch this miracle happen. So I went out to the main stage and the sun is just starting to come up. So it's a ghost town. You can hear music in the distance. You can hear, this and that's going on. And there's like a couple stragglers here and there, almost like tumbleweeds. Like that's what it felt like. Just wide open space, empty stage. All the energy is still there. The camp is alive, but it's all asleep. Anyway. So I find a bench and I'm just sitting there watching the light grow around me, watching the people do their little acts. It's so funny. I mean, it was just hilarious. There's a guy that was like, had a metal detector but it's not a real one. And it's this whole act where he interacts with people and gets a laugh out of them. And he was doing it even though there was no people there to do it with. It was wonderful. And I was just feeling this sense of profound peace, belonging. Everything was right, just the way it was. And all of a sudden, these two people walk up to me with a pot and a cup. And they give me a grilled cheese sandwich and put a ladle of tomato soup in the cup and say some super sweet thing and walk away.
Yeah.
And it was like after a long, very energetic, dancing, crazy night, wild bands, wild stuff happening, to sit there in this profound hush and bite into a hot grilled cheese sandwich and take a sip of tomato soup where before there was no food. It just magically appeared. And it, even though there was nobody looking at me, I felt so seen and so at rest. The world just felt right. It was beautiful.
No, that's it. That's the experience.
Okay. So I hear kind of a thread through all of this. Everything you do has a purpose of bringing people together, creating community, just giving people confidence in themselves. In my mind, I still see like you're trying to make a safe space for people.
I don't know. I don't want to feel like that I'm that pretentious.
But why would that be? Why would that feel pretentious? If that's what you want.
Well, every year around this time, last 15 years, I sit with my kids and we do New Year's resolutions. We take a look at the year, what went right for us, what went wrong, what are areas we can improve. And almost every year for the past 20 years on my New Year's resolution has been make friends. How do I make friends? So awkward about it. And tried the meetup groups, tried so many different things to make friends. And previously, after high school, the only friends I made were from playing music. So being in different bands, and yes, some of those have been lifelong friendships, but that can't be the only way to make friends. And I can't do music to the level that I was doing it in my 20s and 30s. And I still go out and play every once in a while. I still play every day. I play my instrument every day. Go to open mics every once in a while. But putting that much time and energy and heart into a music project isn't something I can do anymore. It hurts too much.
Yes.
It's very taxing and takes a lot of vulnerability, and it often doesn't go anywhere. And I have other interests now. I can't put my heart into that at this point in life. So I was stymied for like 15 years. How do I make friends? I work at home. Before that, when I was living in the Bay Area, I worked an hour and a half away from where I lived. So work friends were almost never a possibility for me. And right now I work with family. That's great. They're going to be my family. Love those guys. But it's not helping me make friends locally. I've had relationships when I got divorced. All my friends were gone. Stupid cliche, but when a couple gets divorced, it feels like almost always the one partner gets all the friends and the other one doesn't. That's baffling, and that's infuriating sometimes.
I have seen that pattern too.
Yeah. So how, as a grown-ass adult, do we make friends that are our friends, independent of our romantic relationships? Yes. And so that's been the goal. And so just trying to figure out how I do that, I got involved with Soak. I got involved with D&D. I got involved with the ethical non-monogamous community. I got involved with other communities and have spun those down since, because these ones I'm finding are where I'm making friends. So it was more about just trying to make friends. And honestly, even that came from a study I read years ago that I think it was Harvard or MIT has done like this 100-year long study on aging men. The number one factor for happiness, long-term happiness for men, is community. Building community, building long-standing, long-lasting relationships was the number one factor that they identified for men's happiness. It's like, okay, I'm a depressed MFer. I've had really bad depression for most of my life. How do I get happy? Well, these Harvard guys are probably pretty smart. Maybe I need to start figuring out how to make friends and building community. So that's where it started. And okay, that part is selfish for sure. I want to be happy. So trying to figure out ways to do it.
Selfish. Well, may we all be more selfish. But if that's selfishness, then selfishness will make the world a better place. If everybody says, how can I be happier? Because a happy person has a happy surrounding.
Yeah.
There is nothing, in my opinion, there is nothing more selfless than to be willing to put the question, how can I be happy, at the very top of your priorities? It's a perspective thing, though.
Yeah, no,
it depends on what you mean by happy and all that stuff. But
I mean the self-serving part of, okay, yes, I want to build community. I want to help these communities. I want to offer safe spaces. And I had been hosting a lot of things at my house so that people had a place where they could meet and gather. And yeah, I want to offer that safe space. But there's the ulterior motive that, yes, I understand that I'm doing this because I want to build community and friends, because if the number one thing that's going to make a human happy long-term in this world is community and friendship, there's a little bit of self-serving interest in that. Yeah. Okay. It's not completely altruistic is what I'm saying.
The human brain has an incredible capacity to find motivations that either don't exist or are such fringe motivations that they're not even worth looking at, and to make those the focus because there's trauma inside us and things we're afraid are wrong with us that make us, somehow not fit into the tribe. And that's the ultimate human fear, is get kicked out of the tribe not find the tribe. If you're people like me and what I'm hearing you to say, you had to find a tribe. And it sounds like
build it.
Sure. Absolutely. And what I'm curious about is, how many people do you have in your life right now that you feel that you can be completely yourself with no mask?
And, part of me wants to say all of them.
Do you have one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, after that, the numbers kind of stop mattering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
I would say most of my close friends I don't mask with.
Do you realize how rare that is in this world for a human to feel that way?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you attribute it to? You've kind of told me the narrative about how you got there. What is the thing that makes
letting go of the worry of rejection?
It wasn't the type of people or where you found them or anything particular, just your own worry.
Okay, I'm going to do some masking here because I don't know who's going to listen to this.
Mask away.
All right, so.
I also don't know.
Okay, I have multiple partners.
Also, if you mess up, you will have the opportunity to hear this before it goes out. And anything you're not comfortable with, I'm not comfortable with. So
Got it.
You are safe.
All right, so let's just talk about sexual proclivities.
Yes.
On so many levels, when you're trying to meet a partner or trying to meet someone that you can connect deeply with romantically, there's a certain sexual aspect that we have wants, needs, desires that we're hoping merge with someone else or that work with what they want. For so long, there has been a reluctance to be honest with myself and with others about what I enjoy and what I want. Getting to the place of not giving a fuck whether I'm rejected for that was hard. And so I started just cutting the bullshit. It's like first date with someone. This is what I like. This is who I am. And just front loading all of my weirdness. So it's like, okay, well, if you know this, and this about me, and you still want to hang out, all right, cool. Then I don't have to worry about the rest of the shit.
And then you can drop the masks.
It's going into those situations unmasked.
At the very beginning, you're saying, hey, this is what I look like underneath it all. because I'm not going to be in a relationship that I have to wear the shit.
Exactly. And that came from coming out of my marriage. I asked myself, did I want ethical non-monogamy because of that relationship or because it's the way I'm built?
Whoa.
And I really had to do a deep dive.
That's an uncomfortable question.
Yeah. We didn't connect in a lot of ways that I would have liked to connect. Did I want ethical non-monogamy? Because I was looking at a list of wants and needs and I was getting these needs met, these needs not met. And I thought, well, okay, maybe we need to mix and match different people to figure out how we feel fulfilled in relationships. Or are people ultimately built differently, where non-monogamy is something that is intrinsic to the person? I don't know. First relationship I had post-divorce, I picked this person up at divorce school, and I'm so proud of myself for that. It's like in Oregon, you've got to go to divorce school.
Of course. It's Oregon.
Yeah. So
you just have to go to divorce school so you know how badly you're going to get fucked.
It's not necessarily a bad thing, because they want you to look at, it's like, okay, you put the kids first. Don't bring your fights into the into the house and talk shit about your ex. All good things, but they make you do the class, and there's this cute person there, and we sat next to each other. We hit it off. I asked her out for a drink after divorce school. We dated for 6 months.
Oh my gosh! But not still together.
No.
Okay. No. I mean, what an offbeat Cinderella story is. That'd
be hysterical. Stayed friends, but it was interesting because we started dating, and I was just upfront about it. It's like, okay, I was in a non-monogamous situation before getting divorced. I think I'm built this way. I think it's an intrinsic part of who I am, that I'm just non-monogamous. She had a hard time accepting that. I told her, I don't have a problem practicing monogamy, and we can practice monogamy while we're dating. But I think it might be the case that I'm built differently. And she would try almost every other week. She's like, oh, I met this guy. He wanted me to come over and have a glass of wine. I'm like, that's awesome. You just got a divorce. Go have fun. Go meet new people. Enjoy yourself. Oh, you're not jealous? No, I'm not jealous. Why aren't you jealous? And she wanted me to be jealous because she felt that our connection was more real if I was feeling, anyway, didn't feel jealousy about it. So
culturally, there's wrong with not feeling jealous in the Western culture.
I just don't feel it. Sorry. I think you're great. I'm enjoying all the time we're spending together. I think we could build a relationship here, but I'm still not going to get jealous if you go date someone else. It's just not something that's going to worry me.
Yes.
Anyway,
you're in good company.
Yeah. I don't remember where I was going with that story, but
that means
I got super excited about
you know what compersion means then.
I do.
Yes. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. Oh God, I've got feelings about compersion too.
Did your marriage end because of your non-monogamy, or you're exploring it? I'm assuming you started exploring after you got married, or you started to realize it after you got married. I should just ask instead of assuming.
I'm not going to talk about that exploration because reasons.
Sure. Perfect.
It did not end because of that.
Okay.
My ex and I are still really good friends, good co-parents.
Sweet.
But we ultimately understood we wanted different things. She definitely wanted monogamy. I wasn't built for it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. And yeah, we're definitely in a good place. She's much happier. I'm much happier. And
it's amazing how many people, because of the powerful influence of the way we look at relationship in the Western culture generally, that you don't ever quit. You made promises and you keep your promises no matter what. And so people will drag on a life of absolute misery and also work to try to convince themselves that they're happy when all they'd have to do is just accept that we're not compatible anymore. Maybe we never were. I don't know, but just let it go. Stop trying to hold something that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, I am so guilty of that. And
likewise,
I owe my ex-wife's wife a deep thank you.
Yay.
Because so my ex and I were in a fight. We're married, and her girlfriend comes over, and she's like, "Can't you guys see that you and your kids would be so much happier if you just split up?" And I come from an Irish Catholic background, and it's like,
yes,
fuck you. You have no idea. The nuclear family is the most important thing. And I don't care how miserable I am. I'm going to stick this out and be miserable for the rest of my life so that my kids
raise miserable kids too.
And oh my God, she was so right. My ex-wife's happy. I'm happy. The kids were not fucked up by the divorce. They are happy. Yeah, she was so right. It was hard to hear at the time, but she was so goddamn right. It was awesome.
That's beautiful. And it sounds like your kids' parents are finding themselves. And so the kids are therefore definitely finding themselves as well.
They are. Yeah.
You can't, kids follow parents. I'm watching it in my life. That's just, you want to be a good parent, then stop trying to be a good parent and be yourself. You're not going to do it the way anyone else is going to do it.
Yep.
That's what I'm learning anyway. And it's so far so good. And it just makes the experience such a pleasure. Because I get to be me.
Yeah, the more you try and force them into what you think they should be, the more they try and wiggle out of that, and you just, square peg round hole. You can't do it. So just let them be what they're going to be, and try and give them the guidance and support that you can. Share some stories and experiences, but
yes.
At this point, my goal is I just want to be there for them when they need something, when they need someone to talk to, so that I'm someone that they can trust, that isn't going to overreact when they tell me something, that is going to be there when they fall down, help them up if they fall down. I mean, I hope they're trying something hard enough that they fall down and
thank you,
break some things.
But yes. And who are they going to think of when they break something and they need help?
Yeah, exactly.
I'd like my kids to think of me when they're in trouble and not think of me as, oh crap, how do I keep dad from finding out? I want to be the person that they want to come to. And that's not who I have been, because I did try to control them. And so?
No, I think I stopped trying to control them a while ago.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting line to try and walk, because yes, I have given my kids consequences, delivered the consequences when it's like, all right, you did this. Usually it's the natural consequence. And if you can get to the natural consequence, that's a much better teacher than any kind of imposed consequence. At least that's my belief.
And it will always come.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you do.
But I'm still trying to model for them what being an adult is. For the longest time, I tried to protect them from my experience. Like keep the facade up.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
Protect them from the experience you were going through.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I got dumped pretty harshly about 4 years ago. And I decided to let them see me grieve. It's like, I'm not going to hide this from them. It's not a bad thing. It's like, that relationship's over. It was a beautiful relationship. I learned a lot from it. It's gone. I hurt. I'm going to let them see that. If they see some tears fall, it's okay.
If they see you get emotionally messy.
Yeah. Let them see that. Let them see.
Yes.
Because I was raised by a dad that didn't allow emotion.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you are a man. You don't get to show emotion. You don't get to cry. You don't get to hurt. And I think that's freaking just damaging as all hell to little dudes.
And generational.
Yeah, dudettes too, but I only had dudes.
Yes.
So I didn't want to pass that on. I wanted to let them see tears and grief and anguish and recovery and growth. And okay, now we're going to start dating again, and life's going to go on. We're going to be fine. And, we got each other here,
And we fight sometimes, and we hurt.
Yep.
because that's true for them too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How can they want to come to us if they think that we're not like them?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious where you come from, how you got your start. How do you feel about just giving me some broad brushstrokes of your upbringing?
Let's see. I was born in Colorado.
What part?
Colorado Springs.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, it's interesting. Grew up in Colorado Springs. Went to school outside of the Air Force Academy. So that was an interesting experience. Lived in the poorest little square of what was one of the richest areas of Colorado Springs. So I had a hard time fitting in school. And I think that was good for me.
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have a brother and a sister, both younger.
Like a lot younger? Or how close were you to them growing up?
My sister and I are pretty close. My brother and I, he was 14 years younger than me. So not as close to him. He didn't, he grew up after I left home. Not real close to my folks. Have not talked to them in 10 years.
Why?
There's a lot of dysfunction.
So, okay. So Colorado Springs, did you go to high school there too?
So born in Colorado Springs, grew up in San Diego until about second grade. Then the family moved from San Diego back to Colorado Springs.
Okay.
Lived in Colorado Springs until I graduated from college, from Boulder.
Okay.
And then got married right after graduation, or actually right before graduation. And my ex-wife got into grad school in Berkeley, so moved to the Bay Area.
Okay.
Lived, worked, played music in the Bay Area for 13 years, something like that.
What did you do there? Like for work?
Large account management for a couple of global semiconductor companies. So I sold semiconductors to Apple Computer.
Wow.
Yeah, for the French and Italians first, and then for the Koreans. And worked for Hynix and ST Microelectronics. Yeah.
That's a niche.
It was fun, dude. I've traveled the world. I've seen a lot of places. I am so glad that I don't do that though. Now I work with family. But yeah, no. Growing up in Colorado Springs was great. It was a really weird experience because somewhere in my high school experience, the New Life Church, I think it was the New Life Church and Focus on the Family, two religious groups moved into town. And set their headquarters up there, and it got really weird overnight. So I grew up Catholic, and went to the Catholic services on Sunday. Well, I went and had donuts. Yes. My folks made me go to church, and I would just go and eat donuts and then come home. So, but it got really interesting because they started handing out Bibles on my high school campus, doing these weird gatherings at the flagpole where as you'd walk into class, they would scream at you that you're going to hell if you didn't join them. They would have Bible groups. There'd be pictures of Jesus like posted on our lockers. And it was like overnight.
Revival.
Yeah, it was so weird. I was like, they give us this wafer on Sundays, and I think if I eat the wafer, I don't go to hell. So I don't know that I need your gathering at the flagpole crowd. I didn't really understand Catholicism all that much either, but it was like Catholicism seemed like a pretty conservative religion, and these guys were way more.
So even back then, were you like I think you have kind of you see yourself as an atheist, somewhat at least, softcore atheist, maybe? Yeah. There's
are you familiar with Catholicism?
Yes.
Okay. So I think it's right around age 12. You have to do this confirmation where you stand up in front of your congregation and you have to say some words. And you have to do classes. And I got into a fight with a priest in these classes because they wanted, at least how it was explained to me in my little 12-year-old mind at the time, was that you had to say that the only way to God was through Jesus. And I had a real problem with this because there were a lot of people on the planet that I was pretty sure at that time that hadn't heard of this dude. And I was like, well, what about these guys and these guys? You're saying the only way. So if they're not going to heaven, that means they're going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah. So that doesn't seem fair. He's like, well, that's why we need missionaries to go and, spread the word. I was like, well, yeah, but don't you think that if we had, what you're saying is this all power, all knowing God, that he would create people or create the system a little bit better so they all heard about this dude, so that everybody would hear this. And instead of so you're telling me that I have to say that I believe in a God who creates people knowing that they are going to go to hell because I didn't go and tell them about Jesus. And the priest said, yes. And I was like, yeah, I'm out.
Where did you get those ideas from? Did it come from your family at all?
No, it's just thinking about it. It's like, okay, you're saying this. These are really the words you're saying. That I don't know it's like. There's 1 billion people in China, 1 billion people in India, or somewhere around those numbers back then, that are being created by a God that don't know about Jesus, that get to go to hell. And my understanding of hell at that point was fire, and brimstone, and devil poking you in the tuchus with a hot poker. It's like, that doesn't seem fair. That seems evil to me. So I don't know that I can stand up in front of my friends, family, congregation and say these words that I don't believe in. It's like, I can't believe that. I've since talked to people who have said, no, this dude explained it wrong. It's like, all right, well, that was what was presented to me. And at that point I checked out.
And you were 12.
Yeah. It's like, that just doesn't seem right.
So what kind of stuff did you like to do?
At 12?
Just generally in that whole time as a kid, like what type of a kid? What did you do for fun?
I built Legos. I had a Lego collection.
Were you a solo kid?
Yep. I started playing music at about age 16. And that's when I started getting friends, was by playing music, playing bass in a local band, high school band.
Is that mainly what you play, is bass? Okay. Do you play in a band now? Do you have any?
Nope. No aspirations to play in bands.
I know you talked about it. You said you don't have time. Okay. It's
I don't have the heart.
Okay.
I don't have the heart.
But that was tied to
making friends.
You had to play the music in order to make friends. But what if you just play the music just because you want to?
Oh, I still do.
You still do that?
I still play guitar.
Yeah.
But
just for yourself.
Yeah. It's hard to explain. I love it so much that I can't do it casually. It's not something that I do well casually, at least not bass or cooperative playing with other people. I've had many bands over the years, never more than one at a time, because when I find a project that I like, I throw heart and energy and time into it. And when it comes to an end, it's heartbreaking. My big project ran from like 2004 to 2012, something like that. When that ended, my heart was broken. Previously to that, that would still happen. You get in a band, put everything into it, all the heart, all the soul, all the energy, record, make music. These were like family, brothers. There is no other experience I've had like it, where you create something in real time and you share that kind of emotional intensity with other people, where your energy and vibe are so connected and so just in sync. It's like meditation. You get to that next level of consciousness where you can feel what the guitar player is going to play next. You know it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to think where your fingers are going. You don't have to worry about the words coming out of your mouth. You are just in this bliss state, and it's amplified with the other people creating it with you. There's nothing else like it. It's better than sex. And when that ends, it's worse than any relationship I've ever seen break up. And for so many times, be like, okay, the band ends, it breaks up. I would sell all my gear. And then I'd find someone else who wants to play music. Okay, shit, I'll go get a bass. I'll go get an amp and do it again. Then when my wife got into grad school, it was in the Bay Area. Lonely, traveling for work down in San Jose, living in Oakland, no friends. How do I make friends? Okay, get on Craigslist. Let's find a band that's looking for a bass player. I'll go play bass. I'll meet some people. I'll make some friends. Get a social life. Get involved in that project. And it's like, okay, now I'm booking shows. I'm promoting gigs. I'm making posters. I'm writing songs. We're going into the studio. We're making albums. We're going on tour. Okay, we're gonna try and make it. We're gonna make this thing work. And it's like another full-time job. And
yes.
I put so much into it, and then it ends, and it's heartbreaking. So I can't do that to myself again. And I got sucked into another one. I was playing poker with these guys here in town, and they're like, hey, you need to meet my buddy. He's in a band with this other guy. They need a bass player. Like for 2 years, they were pitching me on this band. I'm like, no, I'm done with this shit. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that to myself. After 2 years of getting it pitched to me, it's like, fine, I'll go fucking play with these guys. I remember having a call with them. I'm like, all right, I'm not buying an amp. If you want me to come play, I'll play, but you're providing the amp, you're providing the speaker. I'll show up with my bass, I'll play your goddamn songs. And I did, and I fucking fell in love with it again. And I'm helping them workshop songs. I'm like, okay, well, I got an engineer down in Berkeley. We can go record. We go record. Got a little EP out of it. And then the guitar player's like, I'm out. I'm like, oh, fuck, I did it again. I fell into it goddamn again. And yeah, it's just heartbreaking every single time. It's so goddamn heartbreaking. And I love those guys. I really do. And I don't begrudge any of that journey. I love every moment of it. I loved getting back on stage and playing songs and playing in front of people. But I just can't do that to my heart anymore.
You are musically heartbroken.
Totally. Over and over again.
Oh, that's a difficult place to be because you have such a deep love for it.
Yeah. I still do.
It's a thing that your life is. It is part of your life. It is who you are. And
yeah,
it hurts because that intimacy is also very vulnerable.
It is.
Oh my goodness.
So I had a conversation with the guitar player I played with on the prior project. And this was the project that, still some of my favorite music to even listen to is the music that we made. I love it. And yeah, okay. It's my music, so I get to love it. But I was talking to the guitar player the other day, maybe last year. I don't have a real good sense of time. And we pitched to studios, or we pitched to labels. We got feedback from labels, and it was good feedback. It's like, hey, these are great songs. Do a couple more tours. Send us your next EP. Like you're really close. You guys are really close. Let's improve your songwriting. We want to listen to your next one. Did that. Recorded the next one. Started shopping it, and we split up. But we had tours. We went and played South by Southwest and had more fun than I can imagine having.
Wait, South by Southwest?
Yeah.
Isn't that like that? I've heard that name before.
It's the big festival in Austin.
You played that?
Yeah. We got to play South by Southwest. That was awesome.
What an experience.
It was awesome. And both Jose and I had little kids at that point. Arden was just born. And it's really like it's where the road splits. It's like, okay, we could go on this path, not see our kids, tour all the time, build the fan base the way you're supposed to. Maybe we get label attention, or we're going to be home with our kids. And both of us were sitting there going, oh my God, I'm so glad that we did not choose that other path. I'm so glad we didn't get signed by a label. So we got to have that rock and roll experience in our 30s where we had all the fun we wanted to have. We partied, we toured, we got to pretend to be rock stars for a couple weeks here and there when we'd go out on tour. We're not followed by paparazzi. We get to have privacy.
Right.
The lead singer of, or the bass player from Green Day just did this and it's all in the papers, you know, or whatever the bullshit is. It's like, we don't have to deal with that. I get privacy. As a non-monogamous person, could I really live the lifestyle I have if we had actually made it the way we wanted to make it, or what we thought we wanted to do when we were, you know, in our early 30s? I don't think I could. I don't think I'd be happy. I like privacy and relative anonymity, so we're commiserating about that. It's like, we still listen to our old music, and it's like, damn, those were fun times. I'm glad I had the experience. I'm glad I got on stage in front of a couple hundred people and rocked the fucking house. And I can go home and raise my kids in relative peace in this wonderful town. Mm-hmm. Even look what bands have to do now, like because they're most of them aren't making any money on the music. Mm-hmm. Like, it's all on Spotify. People aren't buying CDs or discs anymore. So you're getting a couple pennies every time, or maybe a penny every time someone spins one of your songs. Right. They're making their money on tours, selling merchandise. Right. What kind of life would I have if I had to be on the road 200 days a year? Oh my God, that would have been miserable. I wouldn't have been able to have the relationship with my kids that I have. And that's more important than chasing some dream of being a rock star.
What about a middle ground where you just play music because you want to on the stage because you like it and don't chase anything?
I have a really hard time doing that. I still play music for myself. I still record music for myself.
Is it that you feel like if you step back into it, you're gonna, like, it's either all the way pedal all the way down or nothing?
Pretty much, yeah. Okay. I don't do anything half-assed.
But you said that doing it feels better than sex.
When you're doing it with a group, I can't put my time into another group. I just don't want that. What
I'm trying to figure out is there a middle ground where you can do it with a group without putting that much time into it? Because it sounds like, I mean, what if, like, the world's got to be full. Hell, Corvallis has to be full of people who are in the exact same boat you are and are just like, I just want to play for fun. Because talk about bringing community together, like local coffee, like the little pub, just little bring the, like, just little in the park, like freaking whatever. Like,
it's time, and it's understanding when the story is over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of hobbies.
Yeah.
I paint. I've written novels. I've written screenplays.
You're a freaking artist, bro.
I'm running D&D adventures where I get to write a story that I take my friends on. That has taken the place of music.
Gotcha.
And it's not that next level meditative state.
Yes.
But there's still some flow happening there in a good D&D session where I've created a landscape, thrown all these chess pieces on for people, and I get to watch my friends interact with that world where they're riffing on each other and the story that I've brought them, the story they've brought me. It's very much like playing music for me.
And you don't get your heart broken at the end.
Yeah. Or, I mean, maybe they'll all quit on me and I'll be like, fuck, I have so much more story to tell.
But it's just D&D and you can always host a different table. And
exactly. And I'm learning.
It's not as intimate for you.
It's not.
Oh, man.
But it scratches a similar itch.
Gotcha. Yes.
And it's recognizing that story has ended, that I lived that life and I'm okay with that being, I'm more than okay with that story being done.
Okay. Wow. So it's ended and that's your choice.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I'd been listening to everything you've been saying that.
It's not that I don't get the inclination to do it, but I also just know how much time it takes to get to that. It takes a ton of time and practice to get to a state of excellence. And it requires the commitment of other people to get to that state of excellence. Whereas I can play the music I want to hear by myself,
To yourself.
record it, get a good drum loop going on it. I can play the guitars, I can play the bass, I can do some vocals on it, and I can craft something that, it's not the same thing, but I still get the creative output. And yeah, I want to write books. I want to paint. I want to do other things that are more interesting to me than creating another music project. And, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. And I've got recordings of those music projects. So it's like, okay, well, I did the thing. I've got a recording of it. I'm good with that. I can let that go now.
Are they recordings that I can find online?
Yeah, it's on Spotify.
What do I look for?
Well, you can look for the passive aggressives.
I will do that.
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Are you...
I'll send you a link.
Perfect. I'll put it in the show notes.
Awesome.
Are you doing the drawing and the reading and the writing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you doing that?
Yeah, I am.
Do you have any upcoming literary works? Or do you write just for yourself?
The D&D stuff I write for myself mostly.
Sounds like you could make a whole fantasy series out of a 5-year-long game. Do people do that?
Yeah, they do. Kind of, but not really, because for most of it was an out of the box set. So D&D will publish adventures.
Okay.
So I ran my kids through 2 published adventures, and then we reset and did a vampire story called Curse of Strahd, which is a phenomenal D&D adventure. I took my adult players through one of the Waterdeep adventures, and then we did Curse of Strahd. So we finished Curse of Strahd, and everything after that is my writing based on crap that I put into the Strahd adventure. So they give you these out of the box adventures, and there's no rule saying that, oh, you have to play it just like this. So I rewrote some of the hooks in the Strahd adventure to allow for an after story. And we're going through the after story now, like the ramifications of, okay, if you go through this Strahd adventure and you kill the big bad vampire, what happens? What are the ramifications in the world for doing this? Why was this there? And so I wrote a backstory for why it was there. And now my players have to deal with that. So yes,
Deep
I'm writing
world
that.
building.
Yeah, deep world building.
And is that what you're writing about? Or do you have other projects?
I'm writing a young adult novel, or I have written a young adult novel. Working on the second one. I've gone through the first round of editing on the first one. I have to compile those edits, and then I pitch it, hopefully, to a publisher. So,
What genre is it, or what
Young
can
adult
you tell me about it?
young adult fantasy.
Fantasy, of course.
Concept being, sometime in the near future, there is a cataclysm of some sort on this planet that changes things. Technologies doesn't work, and the United States breaks up into different enclaves. In this world, there are monsters, and government had been holding those monsters at bay. Now that an overarching government is gone, the monsters are coming to be. So it's a story about getting a bunch of kids, because there's a technology aspect to it where the kids can use a certain technology that adults, because their minds are less flexible, have a harder time using. So they try and find kids that have a natural propensity to use a certain technology and help them grow to a place where they can keep the monsters at bay and civilization can come back to thriving. I need a better pitch than that, because
You're pitching like one of my very favorite genre niches there. Do you have a working title? Like, is it?
It's called the Sleep Squad.
The Sleep Squad. And it sounds like you may be close enough to releasing on your first one that you may have a timeline. How soon could it possibly be consumable?
I've envisioned it as 2 5-book series. Okay. So I've got the outline for the first 5 fairly well written out. The second 5 roughly outlined. I've written the first one. I'm halfway through the second one. I kind of want to get a little bit further along because what I'm finding out is that I re-outline as I go through the story. It's like, okay, this is where the story is. As I've gotten to know this character a little bit more through the story, I don't know that they're going to make this decision. So, okay, we need to re-outline. And so it's still a work in progress. I did print out my first draft, and I've let people read my first draft. There are a lot of typos, and a friend of mine's daughter actually was looking for some work, and she offered to go do the proofreading. So I've got that feedback. I need to incorporate that into the first draft, then get my pitch plan together, and I'll start pitching it.
That's an exciting work.
It's fun.
That's an exciting genre for me. And it makes me think of a book series called, have you read the Emberverse series? The reason I found the Emberverse series is because I was at Camp Ray Leah out of the coast when I was with the National Guard doing a training, and I had some time to go off base for some reason, and it's wherever, middle of nowhere on the Oregon coast, but there was a bookshop. So I went in there and I found a book called A Meeting at Corvallis. I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm reading this. And it was fantasy. It looked like, the cover had like, I don't remember which one that one is. Anyway, you can tell it's kind of post-apocalyptic,
Yeah, that's my favorite genre is like, how do we rebuild society after the shit hits the fan? Because I think we all have a feeling it's coming pretty soon, unfortunately.
And here, in many ways. But yes, I agree with you. But
so Emberverse,
the first three books, Dies the Fire, A Meeting at Corvallis, and I can't remember what the third one's called, but it's about like there's a major shift that happens and technology stops working, but in very specific ways. And I don't want to get into the whole story. It's so interesting, but it's set in the Willamette Valley.
Oh, nice.
And it's kind of like things split up in certain ways, but like you've got a history professor that takes over Portland as a warlord. And then he spends the whole series, he's trying to take over the whole valley, and the Oregon State faculty takes over Corvallis, and it's the only Democratic region left. And all of like all the football players are the Knights, and it just kind of like plays with it like that because internal combustion doesn't work and electrical synapses don't work.
Excellent. A local writer then.
No, he moved here for 5 years.
Oh, cool.
To learn the neighborhood. And it is so crazy being someone who knows this area and travels the I-5 corridor. And he talks about all the hamlets, all the little towns around, and how, people congregated together and what happened on the coast. And it's like, this is an alternate history that's happening in my home. Like there's literally a fort in the hospital on the hill in Corvallis, and the bridge, the way the bridges are, it's just set up so that, anyway, it is so interesting, but it just made me think of that.
I will never read it. Not until I publish, because if I start reading a book and I'm like, oh, frick, this is because it's a common enough trope that
it's because every story is actually telling the same story. The human condition. That's all this is.
Yeah. So if I start reading a story that looks like it's going to go, or that it could possibly go similarly, I'm like, okay, I don't want the influence. I don't want to worry about having to isolate that story from what I'm trying to create. So I put it down, and I've got a few books that are just like, okay, when I'm done with this, I'll read those. But
dude, that makes blazing sense to me.
Yeah. I don't want to be influenced. I want to see what I can put out with, because already I'm influenced so much by other authors.
Yeah. Well, you can't help but be, because you're a human. That's how you learn. I'm excited to see what you. Yeah,
I'll share.
It's a good genre by a brain that's steeped in epic fantasy. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, I do worry because, like from what I've read, you have to be careful. You have to either pick fantasy or science fiction, and there's parts of this book that are science fiction, parts of this book that are fantasy. It's like, all right, well, fuck it.
How about just
you can't do it? You can't. You're not supposed to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Thank God.
Because
Thank God.
That's what came to me. This is what came to me, and it's a mix of science fiction and fantasy. So, like, there's a science fiction reason why magic is working. So, there's a magic system in the book, but it's coming from a science fiction kind of reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, it may not work, but I'm going to write it anyway, or I'm going to finish it.
I can't remember where I heard this. I think I was listening to a podcast. I listen to so many, it's just stupid, but somebody was making an argument for, okay, the thing that the world values the most is unique. That's it. So, like, you go back in time to the artists that you hear about, that you know about, it's because they were doing something that couldn't be done. That's the only reason, because the world values above all something that is original, something that is unique.
Yeah, and it's arguable that anything is really unique. We're all just kind of rehashing the
other
same
side of the
things,
coin,
but,
correct? Yeah.
But no, you're right. Fresh take on it. I want it to be about characters and characters growing. Yeah, I like the story, and I like the arc of what's happening in the world and the world building. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, I'm hoping that the characters are compelling, and that I can create characters that the reader cares about. And you're caring about these kids that are struggling to survive and making hard choices. And I mean, it all started out as, like, reading stories to my kids at night. And it's like, okay, well, we can read Winnie the Pooh, or I can just riff on a story, and we call them stories from head. It's like, yeah, Dad, we'd like a story. And, just tell the kids a story about, some adventure that they went on. It's like, oh, you guys went on. And I was like, oh. So I wanted to write a book that my kids could read, or that my kids would want to read. And I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I wonder if my stomach's growling. I wonder if that's going to get picked up on the tape.
I hope so. Originality. That's what people are after. Okay. And then you also mentioned art.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I believe, like painting or drawing, some type of stuff. Do you actively, are you doing that? Or is that for your writing?
No,
Okay.
It's just a different expression. You've been to my house.
Have I?
I think you came to.
If I went there one time, I probably don't remember it.
Okay.
Especially if it was very long ago.
I thought you came to one of the parties I threw.
I don't think I did.
Oh, okay. Well, come next time.
I'm not saying I didn't. I have a terrible memory, but
cool. I do pour painting. It's a type of painting where you water down acrylic paints, you throw it on a canvas, and you spread it around, and it makes shapes. And there are ways to do it to make it look more interesting, and you get a little bit of control. What turns me on about that is to try and make 3 paintings in one. And it's great because, like, you put a little silicone in the paints, and it'll make all these little bubbles and makes kind of a trippy looking thing. And then you spread it out over the canvas, and you can make flowers, and there's different ways to do wild things with it. What I'm doing is making 3 paintings in one. So you have a painting in regular light, and that's a painting. Then you turn on black light. And so I'm adding UV reactive ingredients to not all of the paints, but some of the paints. So that as it spreads around the painting, you turn on black light, it's going to look different. Then I'm adding glow in the dark elements to other paints, so that when you turn the light off, it glows in the dark, and it's the third painting. Because a lot of people do pour painting. I couldn't draw an apple to save my life. I don't have that kind of precision.
You couldn't make it look like you want to bite into it.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of. I've never trained for that kind of artistic expression, but I like the color, and I like the shape, and I like playing with the color and expressing that way, and really like when I can make something that looks different under different lights. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Do you just make it to make it, or do you post it anywhere?
just make it to make it. So for Soak, one of my partners brings a camp to Soak, and we do this kind of art for the camp. And so, okay, you know what you're saying when you went to shift, like you hear the music all the time.
Yeah. It's always something.
My first time going to Soak, 2013, 2014, it was 3 days of nonstop bass. By about the second day, I was losing my mind of not having any break from the constant noise. So I went and I had to get out of the experience. I went for a hike just to go get silence, and went back and thought, okay, if I ever do a camp, what I would really like to bring is a way to bring that intensity level down for people. So what we created was a tent. It's basically a carport, 10 by 20 carport that we line with acoustic blankets. So it brings the dBs down. And then inside the tent, we hang pour paintings on all the walls and have the lights cycle through RGB and blacklight so that...
Oh, that sounds so cool.
Yeah. So you can go into the tent, chill out for a little bit, bring your experience down, bring the intensity down, but you're still getting entertained by this ever-changing landscape of art. And I think we're going to bring it to Soak again this year. And one of the ideas we have is to do an art auction. You don't sell anything at Soak,
right?
But have a silly art auction. Like, okay, this painting's up for sale. Whoever can recite the best poem, and if someone recites a poem, they win. They can take the painting home. Just a way to try and gift that to the community.
That's
in a fun experience.
It's a really cool idea.
Best interpretive dance gives. It's like,
dude, I'd bid on that stuff.
Yeah,
that would be so fun because it's all just
to be silly,
an experience. Yeah.
Because after a couple of years of doing these paintings, and we'll do them as a group, so we'll have a couple of work parties where our camp will come together and we'll all pour paint. And I generally won't do more than one or two paintings, but I'll mix the paint for everybody. So everybody's got blue and some glow in the dark white, glow in the dark blue, and everybody gets to make their paintings and stretch them out, and then we dry them and we bring them to Soak and hang them on the wall. People get to come and enjoy that. But then we're bringing all these paintings home with us. It's like, well, shoot, my garage is full of all these paintings. Man, I should just be giving these away to the community, because if people are actually, and we get some really great feedback from people. It's like, oh my God, these paintings are great. It's like, we should really just be giving these away to people instead of dragging them back home with us and having them sit in my garage.
Meta community paintings.
Yeah.
It just sounds really cool. I want to see it. Well, I'll see it if I ever go to Soak. How about that?
Just come by, dude.
Yeah,
and I'll show you some of the stuff.
So
some of it I've got hung up in my house.
It's where you're saying, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have like 5 reasons to go now.
Yeah. Come see the fort. Come see some art.
Someday, dude, I'd like to have a shop. Like on a property like this, I could put a shop out there and have like a woodworking corner, like with the old school bench and like all this other stuff, but and also the whatever tools, modern stuff, like whatever. A whole forge area with a steel fabrication, like a welder, and like just the basics that you can do kind of anything with. We're surrounded by artists who don't do art because they don't have time. They don't have the way to do the thing or find out what is it that your art is wanting to do. Let's go. Let's
connect after this. There's local burner meetups, and I think there are some people with like maker shops in town.
Sweet.
I've got a buddy in Portland who's got a maker space
shop. Of course, that was what they would be called. Okay. Well, I wonder if there's any podcast shops, because I've been seeing some things online of people saying, "Hey, I've got a studio that I just like to, it's easy setup, and I just want to promote people's." Like, I want to do that too, but yeah, it's like you say, time. Everything comes down to time.
Everything comes. I wish
I could do everything, but
yeah.
Okay, I am super interested to just kind of see what other people are doing. I would love that, because to me it's a pipe dream. I fully understand that I may never actually do that side of what I want to do, but I would love to, and I believe I will someday. But I would love that. So let's definitely connect on that.
There's a person I have in mind, but I don't know if they actually have that. But
sure.
I want to find out by getting to know them better myself.
And I'll have any conversation, especially in this direction, because this is what I want to do. Is I want to, like you. I mean, it's all about connecting people. At the end of the day, I have these conversations because I will shrivel up and die if I don't. But I also love finding new ideas and connecting this person with this person or myself with this person. Like just like seeing the network just happen. I love that.
It's great. Yeah.
I believe it's going to start becoming more and more productive, but I don't know how. I don't know what it looks like. I'm just excited for it.
Yeah, build it and they will come, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Except, isn't that about IRS?
I think that was Field of Dreams.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I had this anti-motivational poster of a bunch of people coming out of the corn like IRS agents, and it said build it and they will come.
Oh yeah, okay.
Field of Dreams is one I need to see sometime.
Well, and that's what's happening in Field of Dreams. They build a baseball field in the middle of a cornfield, and like the baseball players start coming out of the cornfield. So that's probably it's a riff off that.
Now.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, another movie I can put on the list.
Is James Earl Jones in it? Yeah, I think James Earl Jones is in it. Kevin Costner, maybe. It's an old movie.
Everybody's heard of it.
Yeah.
That tells me it's good. There's at least something good about it.
I don't remember. I can't remember. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Try it.
Well, I have more questions for you.
Okay. I got a little bit more voice left.
Okay. Then I'll get to the best ones.
All right. Let's do it.
Right now in your life, what do you feel like you're most afraid of? If you were to think, what are you afraid of? What is it? What is the thing that just pops out?
All right. So on the first of this year, there was one of our community members was hosting a community connection event on the first. Went to that, and they were doing vision boarding, and it was the first time I'd done vision boarding in a while, and I had to face this thought. So of the things that I have been working on, so I talked about D&D, Soak, and the non-monogamous community. I have had to pull away from hosting all of the non-monogamous events at my house because I was doing it every other week. And now that I'm going into the Soak cycle, I am scared of losing myself because last year I think I overextended myself too much because the prep for Soak is a big task. And thankfully, the leadership at Soak, or the producers, recognize that the team I'm on is doing a lot. And they're really helping us try and, it's like, okay, we need to carve some of this stuff out for you guys so that you guys don't get burned out. And I got pretty burned out last year, hosting the non-monogamous community every week, hosting Dungeons and Dragons every week, and then spending hours trying to do the Soak work. So the thing I am scared of right now is losing myself, getting overcommitted, because I'm really bad at not necessarily time management, but projection of time costs. Like I will start a project, for example, put with those things called pagoda patio covers, rain cover in my front yard. It's like I put down stones, pavers, built a patio cover for my front yard, so that I have a little table out there in the front yard, have coffee as neighbors walk by. In my mind, I'm like, okay, I can dig it all out, flatten the ground. That'll take me 3 days. Leveling, it'll take 2 days. Laying the pavers will take a day, maybe 2 days. Putting up the structure, that'll take me 5 days. And I'm so bad about how long something's actually going to take at estimating it. And so I overcommit, and then I'm pulling all-nighters, trying to get all the things done, and I burn myself out, and it damages my relationships because I disappear from people. I used to preface like relationships with, okay, and this is when my kids were younger. It's like every Halloween and every Christmas and every kid's birthday, I'm going to disappear because I will inevitably commit myself to a project, building a piñata for my kid, doing a cake for my kid, building a costume for my kid, where I'll think it'll take me 3 evenings, and I'll be doing 2.5 weeks of overnights trying to finish up this robot costume I had in my mind for my kids to help give them their Halloween dream.
Right.
And
You make your kids costumes?
I did for a while.
Oh my gosh.
Made them cakes and piñatas, really cool ones too.
I love that.
And so that's my fear is, so in this vision boarding, I do too much, and I realize that I overcommit to things. And so my fear is losing myself. So I'm really trying to be very, very aware of where I'm putting my time and not committing to things and saying no more than I'm saying yes, so that I can do the things that I want to do better.
I just have to ask, is there any similarities in that feeling, that fear of losing yourself, what the archetype of that losing yourself feels, to what your experience has been with music? And I'm not like trying to needle that. I'm actually just curious, what do you mean by lose yourself? Is it that?
So I like building things. I really, really enjoy a project where I can build something from start to finish. And that is a great joy. I also like connecting with people. And if I'm giving too much to a project where I'm building and not being able to enjoy the experience, then I'm not able to be me. I want to be able to do the project at a pace where I can enjoy the experience, not can I just get this thing done so that, because I haven't been able to hang out with this person. I keep canceling these plans. I can't do this thing because I've got to finish this goddamn project. If I don't get this project done, then it's like the sunk cost or whatever that is. Like, I already put this much time into it. I just have to finish this.
And then instead of fun, instead of art, it's work.
Yeah. So different hurt. So is it similar to that? It's similar in the inability to do it casually. Painting. I can do painting casually because I don't consider myself a painter. I just enjoy it. And so I can go and set up paints and, make a mess. And if it comes out cool, great. I don't consider myself a painter, so I don't have any emotional attachment to it. I consider myself a musician. So if I start a music project, it's like I have a certain expectation of what the quality of the outcome should be. And if it doesn't meet that expectation, then I'm not happy with the art. I can be fully happy with painting art because I don't consider myself a painter. And maybe it's the same with writing too. I don't consider myself a writer. If anything gets published, I will be pleasantly surprised. I've enjoyed the process and I've enjoyed the journey. If the destination is awesome, great. But my heart's not going to be broken if it doesn't go anywhere other than my friends getting a copy of it or my kids getting a copy of it. I can enjoy that art just for the sake of doing the art. But other projects, like I do them for me. Like I built a catio for my cats. So my cats can have an outdoor experience and I don't have to worry about them fighting with other cats and getting beat to hell. And so I have a very large back porch that is enclosed for my cats. I'm not submitting that to Architecture Digest or I don't care if it's the best thing anyone's ever seen. I'm not getting any gratification from trying to get recognition for that. I did that for me because I want to barbecue and have my cats out there with me. I want to enjoy rainstorms in the afternoon and have a fire pit and have my fire and my cats and hang out with my friends and play guitar and not be in the pouring rain. So I did that for me, but it's still a project. And I started that project and I lost my flipping mind trying to get it finished so that I could enjoy it. And I lost out on a lot of other fun things I could do because I didn't budget how long that project would take. And I recognized myself that I don't have the best concept of time. I really don't.
That's because doesn't actually exist.
but it's still going and it's still passing. And I still want to be able to see the people in my life that I want to see and not be so overwhelmed with the art that I want to enjoy becoming work that I've got to finish because I committed to doing it, that I don't get to enjoy the experience of being present with the people I want to enjoy life with.
Okay.
So that's the fear in a nutshell.
Okay. So the fear is that you're going to lose your presence.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
And I did last year. It sucked. All my relationships were damaged in some way by me overcommitting and having to do so many things that I committed to do while trying to finish projects around my house, while trying to do the things I committed to do for Soak, plus the camp that we had, plus the community, the non-monogamous community, running D&D adventures, and a day job. So I'm paring things down.
Okay. Working to build community.
Yeah.
For yourself.
Yeah.
And you can't have community for yourself if you're not there. That makes so much sense.
Exactly.
It all makes so much sense.
But yeah, that's my fear.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one because you'll have presence. I mean, you can't help it. You're taking steps. Okay. If you knew that you were going to die, what do you think happens after you die? I know this is your favorite thing to talk about. I'm just curious if you even have I'm expecting the same answer. I don't know that I care.
I have many answers.
Okay.
I have kind of an esoteric answer, and then it's not something I worry about.
Okay.
Because if you're living your life right, one life should be enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired. I've lived a life of depression. I have done so much. I have been so blessed. If it ends, damn, it's been a good ride. It's been a hell of a ride. I've had so much goddamn fun. This sliver of the universe has really enjoyed this experience that, all right, cool, we're good. Saying that, I don't want it to end. I'm having a hell of a lot of fun. I want to continue to have a hell of a lot of fun and get to see what my kids... So there's a certain point in child rearing where you're really worried. Okay, I got to keep going because, I need to help them get to a point where they're self-sufficient. And I think I'm close. The little dudes are turning into just incredible people, and I think they're going to be okay. I wouldn't want to pass suddenly because I wouldn't want them to have that burden or that experience of worrying about that. But from my point of view, I've had a hell of a ride.
That's a hell of an answer.
What I think happens is nothing.
Okay.
I get to rest. I get to not be.
Okay.
Life is exhausting. And if I get to not be, that's probably pretty good. Not being is probably pretty good. Just, all right, good. Yeah, I don't have to stress. I don't have to have anxiety. I don't have to worry.
Just rest.
Yeah. And I get to not be, and that's probably pretty good.
That feels beautiful to me.
But I also like some of the reincarnation mythos. Like you can hook your brain up to a sensor, and you get to see those waveforms, right? If consciousness is a waveform and the universe is infinite, isn't it possible that those waveforms could recur or reoccur? I don't know. Maybe that would be interesting. I've also heard different thoughts about the universe as being something that expands and then it gets to a place where it contracts. What if we're just in a bubble that's going expanding and contracting? Okay, so we're going to expand to a point and then we'll contract and we'll do it all over again and all over.
Like, I'll see you in however many billion years.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take.
And maybe we get to do it all. And maybe that's what deja vu is. Okay, well, we made a different choice last time. Maybe we're going to make a different choice this time. It's going to be interesting to find out if, like after it's all over, I start being like a three-legged toad being on some other galaxy far, far away. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this consciousness feels familiar, but I'm a three-legged toad being now. I don't really care, but I like the idea of consciousness being a frequency, and maybe frequencies can occur in other places.
Me too. And it has a beautiful symmetry and sense to it. Like, because vibrations is what this is all like. It just makes sense sort of in my brain.
I'm not thinking too much about it to worry about it. Growing up Catholic, like, that was something they try and it's like, oh, you've got to, I think that is like one of the worst forms of oppression. I think religion is one of the worst forms of oppression, that you have to live a certain way to get to Valhalla or heaven, or
denial now for reward later.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's in my mind, an oppressive form of control. Like,
and I actually don't remember who said it. I think it was the Apostle Paul in the New Testament even says, if what we hope for, it doesn't exist, if it's in vain, then we are of all men most miserable.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
And maybe that's, some privilege there, that I live the life I do, that I get to look at it that way when there are so many oppressed in the world now.
Right.
I think that probably is.
We are blessed. Mm-hmm. If you knew you were going to die, like right now, imminently die, and you were able to say something for all the people that are going to be missing you, they're going to be sad, they're whatever. If you could say one thing, leave them with one thing, what would you say?
Be excellent to each other. Party on, dude.
Yes.
No, I would say exactly what I said before. I've had a hell of a ride. I've been so blessed to live most of my life the way that I wanted to live it, and God, I'm fortunate. And it's also brief. Also brief. Thank you for thinking of me.
Stay excellent.
Please go have fun with the remaining years you've got, because I sure as hell enjoyed mine. Sorry I can't be there, but
I'm resting.
I'm having a good nap.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Well, anything else on your mind that you just want to say? Great. Damian, thank you. I cannot tell you how cool this was. This is really the first time that I've just gone deep with you and just connected, just been explored. I don't know, just see what happens. And this has been a fantastic way to do it, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. This is not what I was expecting, but I don't know. I went into it with that expectation. Actually, I wasn't sure where this was going to go, but it's been fun.
It's not what I was expecting either, because I never know what to expect. I just want to know what's there, and thanks for showing me some of it.
Yeah. Well,
great.
I'm glad this was the first time we went deep, and hopefully we'll. This is the start of something.
Heck yes. We have so many aligned things that we want to see happen. So
yeah,
I wouldn't, there's a few things, but
cool.
We'll have time for that. All right. Well, please keep working on balancing yourself, because you have freaking gifts to share. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of what you have done and what's coming.
Cool.
So,
all right. Well, thanks, Michael.
Okay.
Appreciate the time.
Likewise. Oh, by the way, I would really love to hear from you. Whether it's a comment of appreciation or disagreement, yes, please give me something. I don't know a lot. I'm just starting to learn, but I love challenges. Makes me look. Please send us a message. If you have anything to say, or even if you don't, you just like what you're hearing, or really don't like it, I want to hear that too. Michael at thisisemotionart.com, or on Instagram at thisisemotionart. I also have a YouTube channel. I have I posted anything? Not really, but I will start. You'll see. Oh, no, what I mean is I'll see. So I'm the one that is like, what the heck, bro? Hurry up. You know you want to do it, so start doing it. And so I'm telling everyone else to do that. And here I see it. How do I effectively give myself my own advice? It's easy to say the words to somebody else, and it's easy to say the words to myself, but it feels different. And I want it to feel the same. Practice makes perfect. Okay. Drop us a line. Something about yourself, or about ourselves, or the blue sky. Anything between. Every conversation is worth having, and I'll try just about anything at least once. There's a lot here to appreciate. Thank you.